the Holy Roman Empire. A 1,000-year puzzle of power, faith, and chaos. It began with a crown and a dream, and ended in confusion and ashes. The Holy Roman Empire was not really holy, not exactly Roman, and certainly not a true empire in the usual sense. But for nearly a millennium, it dominated the heart of Europe, a strange, magnificent, and chaotic creature made of ambition, belief, and endless political chess. The birth of a legacy, 800 A.D. It all started on Christmas Day in the year 800, when Pope Leo III placed a golden crown on the head of Charlemagne, king of the Franks, declaring him Emperor of the Romans. Europe gasped. Rome, long dead in the West, seemed to rise again, but Charlemagne's dream didn't last. His empire splintered among his heirs like glass under pressure, and from its fragments the Holy Roman Empire emerged, an attempt to bring unity, under one Christian emperor, to the tangled lands of Central Europe. A realm of many kings. Unlike other empires, the Holy Roman Empire was a patchwork. Dozens, sometimes hundreds of duchies, kingdoms, city-states, bishoprics, and counties. The emperor wasn't an absolute ruler. He was more like the first among unequals, constantly negotiating with powerful nobles who could, and often did, defy him. And yet the title held prestige. Being emperor meant being God's chosen protector of Christendom, or at least pretending to be. Otto the Great and the German Core. In the 10th century, a Saxon king named Otto revived the imperial title. He crushed his enemies, saved the Pope from a Roman revolt, and was crowned in Rome in 962. From then on, the empire became deeply tied to the Germanic lands, giving rise to the later name, Holy Roman Empire of the German nation. But the real drama was only beginning. Popes versus emperors, the investiture showdown. In the 11th century, a storm erupted. Who had more power, the Pope or the emperor? When Emperor Henry IV dared to defy Pope Gregory VII, he was excommunicated, cut off from the Church, doomed in the eyes of his subjects. In a shocking twist, Henry had to travel through a snowy alpine pass, barefoot, to beg forgiveness in the humiliating walk to Canossa. It was a brutal blow to imperial pride, and the fight between Pope and Emperor would continue for centuries. A land of endless lords. By the late Middle Ages, the Holy Roman Empire had turned into a political labyrinth. There was no capital, no unified army, no centralized power. Instead, prince-electors chose the emperor, and powerful states like Bohemia, Bavaria, Saxony, and Austria ran their own affairs. Some cities were ruled by bishops, others by merchants. Some nobles were richer than the emperor himself, and yet somehow the empire endured. The Reformation and the empire in flames. Then came a German monk with a hammer. In 1517, Martin Luther nailed his 95 Theses to a church door, and Europe exploded. The Protestant Reformation tore the empire apart. Catholic versus Protestant, emperor versus rebel princes, Germany became a battlefield of faith. The 30 Years' War, 1618 to 1648, was the darkest hour. Whole cities were wiped out. Famine, disease, and fire consumed the empire. When peace finally came with the Peace of Westphalia, the empire survived, but barely. It became more of a loose confederation than an empire. Rise of the Habsburgs. Through all this, one family rose to dominate, the Habsburgs of Austria. From the 15th century on, they wore the imperial crown almost without interruption. They ruled not just Germany, but also Spain, the Netherlands, parts of Italy, and beyond. But their empire became too big, too complex, and impossible to hold together. The end. Napoleon and the final blow. Enter Napoleon Bonaparte. In 1806, after defeating Austria and reshaping Europe in his own image, Napoleon forced the last Holy Roman Emperor, Francis II, to abdicate. The ancient empire, after nearly 1,000 years, was dissolved with a whisper and a signature. Francis styled himself Emperor of Austria, and the Holy Roman Empire faded into the past. Legacy of a Ghost Empire. Today, the Holy Roman Empire seems like a contradiction. It was fractured, chaotic, and often weak, yet it lasted longer than any modern European state. It gave birth to ideas of federalism, religious tolerance, eventually, and the complex German identity. Voltaire once mocked it, saying, "It was neither holy nor Roman nor an empire." And yet, it changed the course of European history in ways we still feel today. An empire of shadows, dreams, and contradictions. The Holy Roman Empire was the ghost of Rome, wandering the forests of medieval Europe, seeking unity in a world that defied it. You can support me by liking and subscribing.